Yes, the audio is working as it should in terms of game audio. Detail up, telemetry, lap data, trackpad. Get all that stuff up. See if we can't find the stream. Hopefully it won't be too far away. There it is there. And the audio, my audio is working as it should too. Chat's up, everything is running as it should. So, hello and welcome everyone to round 14 of the PlayStation America series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and we're back in this time at Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, or better known as Imola, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. A brand new racetrack for us all here on Race Spec Esports. The 3.1 mile 19-turn circuit was built in 1950, hosted its first Formula One championship race in 1980, and generally is known as one of the most historically significant racetracks in the world. It's a tight, fast, old-fashioned circuit with only a single DRS zone, heading down the pit straight into the braking zone of Variante Tamburello. Talking to some of the drivers in the Pacific Series after the race at Baku, one of the major concerns about the circuit are the curbs here. Naturally, in F1 2021, curbs tend to seriously unsettle the car. And around a racetrack like this, where you have plenty of chicanes and plenty of tight, fast sections, you really do have to use a lot of the curbs. And I saw that a little bit last night in the Pacific Series when my PlayStation decided to work accordingly instead of absolutely failing on me midway through the race. That during qualifying I saw a few drivers have some real trouble with the curbs, particularly through Tamburello, from what I noticed. But for all of us here, both watching and competing, this race is a big unknown. I personally have no idea what I'm going to see from this race. I have few expectations. I'm sure the drivers are feeling the same way as well, and I'm sure some of you watching at home feel the same way too. Maybe by the end of the race, a few of the questions we have about this circuit will be answered, so long as the stream runs nice and smoothly this time around. But regardless of what we may witness, hopefully we actually get to enjoy a good race. But first, a little bit of news from the past few weeks. Now, we had a nice off week last week. We recharged our batteries. It was quite nice, actually. Not have to worry about any sort of racing whatsoever. We come here to Imola with a relatively fresh mind. But from last race back at Baku, there were several incident reports. Several of them resulted in no further action from the stewards, though there were a couple of penalties, such as there was an incident between Snake and Beans and Psycho that resulted in Psycho getting a 10-second time penalty. Flavius reported Passassin for that reset the circuit in the castle section that I saw during the race. He got a 5-second time penalty for that. Basically, long story short, a lot of the penalties handed out didn't really affect the results of the race. However, there was one penalty that did, and that was the disqualification of Wrench and Lakeshore due to a tyre compound infringement at the beginning of the race. They started on the incorrect compound when we did the restart, so they were disqualified from the final results. But other than that, nothing major from the stewards there. Looking in the Drivers' Championship, Assassin well out in front. He mentioned way back in Mexico that he is Drivers' Champion. He's leading on 333 points, followed by his teammate Silent Banshee on 153. It's quite a big margin between the top two. But the fight is on for second place in the standings. Silent Banshee has got Nihil Plus Ultra right behind him by only 1 point in third place on 152 points, followed by Nihil's teammate Oxford Fox He's only 13 points behind his teammate. So 14 points separating those three in the championship, and with only 2 rounds to go, the race for second place is definitely on. As Enzo's just got a penalty, a severe collision with Rafa. Where's Rafa? Oh, interesting. So Enzo's got a 5 grid place penalty for the start of the race. Well, fortunately, it shouldn't affect him too much, as there's only 13 cars participating in the event. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed. Typically, America's series attendance is quite good in comparison with some of the other leagues that I commentate. This is actually the same amount of drivers we had in Pacific Tier 1. There was only 13 in that as well. But, the final bit of news is in the Constructors, Mercedes have wrapped up that championship. They're leading on 486 points, followed by Alpine on 291. They're well clear of Aston Martin, who was in third on 223 points. And Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, Ferrari, Williams, McLaren, Haas and AlphaTauri completes the rest of the table. That's pretty much it in terms of news here on Race Spec Esports. I mentioned this back in the Pacific Series stream. We also had a bit of sad news a few days ago with the passing of Sir Frank Williams, aged 79, the founder and team principal for over 4 decades of the Williams F1 team. Led the team to 7 drivers' titles and 9 constructors' championships, creating his once fledgling team into the 4th most successful outfit in Formula One history, behind Mercedes, McLaren and Ferrari. Rest in peace, Sir Frank Williams. He will be sorely missed, but rest assured, you definitely won't be forgotten. Well, that's definitely it in terms of news. We can now focus fully on qualifying. Captain Schmeg is currently on pole position with a 1 minute 15.119. Currently 6.5 tenths clear of Rafa in P2. But Rafa, he's got Lake Show right behind. He's actually on out lap, getting ready to set another flying lap with, I don't know how much time they have left in the session. There's a slow Mercedes, that must be Silent Banshee, trying to get out of the way. I see, he's run out of fuel. That's why there are yellow flags constantly out on track. Okay, he's making his way through Variante Alta, very tight chicane. Not really an overtaking spot on the circuit. Certainly, if you can get a run through Aqua Minerale, you might be able to have a go into Alta. He's coming through Ravazza now. Oh, out of turn 18, a bit sideways there, but he keeps the car straight. Around the final corner, crosses the line. P7 for the McLaren driver. Lake Shake, he's coming out of Variante Villeneuve and now through the hairpin of Tosa. So a famous exchange between Michael Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya through here led to quite a comical post-race interview between the two. Because Montoya, he was pushed off the circuit by the Michael, and Montoya was less than impressed about it, to say the least. Through Variante Alto, he was up by 84 thousandths of a second. It's not much of an improvement, but it is an improvement. Down the hill towards Ravazza. Coming out of turn 18 and onto the pit straight. Keeps the car to the right-hand side of the circuit, crosses the line, improves by 3/10. So found a lot of time in the final sector there, Lake Show. Well done. He jumps up to P2. He's still a long way behind this man, though, Captain Schmeg, who has invalidated his lap. It looks like he's going to have another go. He's not using any battery. He's either going to go into the pit lane or try and set another flying lap. We're right on board. If he sets off on a flying lap, we'll take advantage of it, and he's not. He's backed out of that completely. So he's going back into the pits. Silent Banshee, he's coming out of Tosa. Godly Boss, you're going back into the pits. JBH has invalidated. Guitar Hero haven't recognised before. Currently on a flying lap. We're right on board. Take you on a tour of the circuit. Coming down to Variante Tamburello. Turns 2, 3 and 4. It's a short straightaway up towards Variante Villeneuve. Slight lift for turn 5 through turn 6, then up a small incline around Tosa. Tight hairpin. Have to get the exit right here so you can maximise straight line speed up towards Piratella. Suppose you come through this brief kink of turn 8, then into Piratella, turn 9. Down the hill towards Aqua Minerale. Very fast, tight complex, very easy to get it all wrong through here. Up the hill towards Variante Alta. The highest point on the circuit, he's up by 7/10 of a second. Didn't fully use all the curve there at the exit, but he's keeping it well within the white line. Doing a good job. Into Ravazza. This is quite an inconspicuous section, but you can get a warning through here quite easily. And invalidate your lap. Guitar here, it does no such thing. Opens DRS, crosses the line. P8 for the Aston Martin driver for the 1 minute 16.669. A very nice lap time indeed. ABH, you're going back into the pits. Snake and Beans, I believe you're going back into the pits as well. Pretty sure. Edzo. He's backing off. Getting out of the way of Silent Banshee, who was potentially on a flying lap. No, he's going back into the pits. Gets in front of JBH, who's going to have another go, it seems. Currently P11 with a 1 minute 17.1. Just needs to improve by 2/10 to jump into the top 10. Through Tamburello, fourth gear. Rides the curbs quite nicely. Out of turn 4. And a short straightaway into Villeneuve. Lifts off the throttle. Keeps it in 7th. Then down to 5th gear for turn 6. Through the hairpin of Tosa. 2nd gear. Brings up to 3rd gear. 4th gear. 5th gear. 6th gear. Through the kink of turn 8. Into 7. And brings it back down to 5th for Piratella. Uses all the curve on the exit and down the hill towards Aqua Minerale. That is Psycho off the circuit. Just in front, there he is there. He's had a spin through the complex. Only on an out lap, so he'll have a bit of time to cool his tyres down and have another go. Out of Alta comes JBH. Down the hill towards Ravazza. Break just at that final Rolex sign that hovers over the circuit. Coming out to turn 18. Open DRS, cross the line, jump to P2 with a 1 minute 15.494. Still a fair way behind this man who has improved in the first sector. Kappa Schmeg is coming through Aqua Minerale, climbs up the hill, uses all the curves available to him. Into Variante Alta, using all the curve again, keeping it in 4th, running wide but doesn't invalidate. Down the hill towards Ravazza, breaking out that Rolex advertising board on the right. And that is Enzo out of the race. Out of qualifying, I should say. As Captain Schmeg improves by just under a 10th to set a 1 minute 15.022. Currently 4.5 tenths clear of JBH, who'll be potentially going back into the pits. So the first sector split and the second sector split say it might be on another push lap. Through Ravazza. Then got 3.5 minutes left. See what he does. No, he's going to go into the pits. Put on a fresh set of tyres and go out at the end of the session. One of the nice things about Imola is that it's quite a short lap. So even with 3.5 minutes, he should be able to get a new set of tyres on the car and get out with enough time remaining. Silent Banshee coming through Tamburello, avoiding those big sausage curves at the inside of the apexes through the chicane. Doing a nice job through Villeneuve, flat through turn 5, very brave. And a nice run coming out to turn 6 too, but he's down by 2/10. got Psycho right in front, who's on an out lap. So I'm sure Silent Banshee would like Psycho to get out of the way as soon as possible. The ball the curve out to Piratella, down the hill through Aqua Minerale. See what Sector 2 says for Silent Banshee as Psycho goes all the way off the road. As Noah has joined us, so we'll have 14 cars for the race. Now down towards Ravazza. 8th gear, entering at just under 300 kilometers an hour. Through the two 90-degree left-handers. Not invalidating as well. Silent Banshee does a good job. Crosses the line, improves by 2/10, setting a 1:16.183. Currently 3 thousandths off his rival Nihil Plus Ultra, who has improved by 2/10 in the first sector. As Captain Schmeg retires in the pit lane, Lake Show has retired as well. He has crashed after Villeneuve. There he is there. So the best he can hope for is 3rd place at the end of qualifying. We'll see how the rest of the field fares though. See if any of them can improve. Through Variante Alta comes Nihil Plus Ultra down the hill towards Ravazza. Just under 300 Ks on the brakes, 3rd gear, short shifting to 4th to find the traction as Cameron joins as well, so we'll have 15 cars. Very good to see. Second Beans has retired. Nihil improves by just over a 10th, setting a 1:16.054. He is 4 thousandths off Godly Ross. Rafa on his final flying lap. Coming through the first sector, the clock says he's down by half a 10th. Psycho has improved to P9 as well. What about Flavius? He's down. So he probably won't be improving unless he nails his final sector. He's going to complete this lap. Cross the line. Improves by 2/10, just under 2.5 jumps to P10. As Rafa has invalidated towards the grass. His session is done. The best he can do is 4th place at the end of qualifying. So it's Captain Schmeg on pole with a 1:15.022. Our qualifying JBH by just over 4.5 at the end of qualifying. So Captain Schmeg will be pretty happy with that, I'm sure. Lake Show P3 at the end of qualifying. We'll have Rafa alongside. Then we've got Oxford Fox and Godly Boss in P5 and 6. The Hill Plus Ultra in P7. Then Silent Banshee in 8th. Psycho in 9th. And Flavius rounds out the top 10. And we've got Guitar Hero, Snake and Beans, and Enzo Banks starting from the back of the field. Well, qualifying at the back of the field anyway. We have 2 late joiners with Noah and Cameron. So they'll be starting 14th and 15th. Nice chase cam here. This is Flavius, I believe. Look at that. I wonder if Flavius uses chase cam while he's racing. Oh, that's right. Enzo got a 5 grid place penalty for a severe collision with Rafa. He's the only driver with a grid place penalty for this race. Oh, as Noah has left the session. Okay. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin soon. There we are. Captain Schmeg on pole, as I said. Just over 4.5. That's quite a big margin at the top. Lake Show in 3rd. Rafa in 4th. With a lot of the big names out, it'll be interesting to see who will come out on top here at Imola. Passassin, our driver's champion, has pretty much dominated his way through this season, winning almost every race. As Noah has rejoined, good to see. So we will have 15 cars for this. It's quite nice. We'll have 2 more than what we had in Pacific Tier 1. Ah, well done. This will be the first time I've seen wet weather conditions here at Imola. What do you think? Full wet or intermediate conditions? I can't quite tell. A lot of puddles about, so it would suggest full wet conditions, but I'm not sure. Oh, well done, Buster. First last night in Pacific Tier 3. First win at Imola. Pretty neat. And hello rest of the chat. Hello Tea Time. Hello Ica. Hello Harold. Hopefully we all get to enjoy this race. But sometimes with wet weather races, racing isn't always the greatest. Because everyone sort of backs off in the wet weather conditions. No one wants to push too hard. Everyone wants to survive, and it's completely understandable. Drivers are setting off on full wet tyres too. So we're definitely not in intermediate conditions then. Full wet conditions. Ought to be a very, very interesting start then, considering these circumstances. So again, we'll go through the order. Captain Schmeg on pole position. He'll have JBH starting alongside. Now, Captain Schmeg will be starting on the left-hand side of the road for the start of the race. That will give him the inside line for Tamburello. But if JBH can get a good launch, he's starting on the racing line. So, which ideally gives you more grip. So it'll be very interesting to see who will come out leading the field after we get through Tamburello. Lakeshore will start P3. He'll have Rafa alongside. Oxford Fox will start P5. Then Godly Boss in P6. The Hill Plus Ultra in 7th, followed by Silent Banshee, who's done a George Russell impression. And he and the Hill have been disqualified from the session. Oh, good. Psycho will start P9. Flavius P10. No Guitar Hero in P11. Snake and Beans in 12th. Enzo in P13. He's a long way behind. Sort of in no man's land at Aqua Minerale. And we got Cameron P14. He's been teleported back to the grid. We've got Noah starting from the back of the field. I think this is his AI driving. It would be the only reason why his car is ghosting. Interesting. There's the predicted tyre stop strategy. A no stop. Is it going to be full wet all the way through? If it is, oh god, this is going to be a long race. Oh my, look at that Mercedes. Is that Cameron? It is. What? What is this? Oh my god, we're not starting like this, surely. He's not in position. Okay. What? That is so peculiar. How has he done that? What kind of witchcraft were you able to conjure up in order to do this? Facing the wrong way, in the wall. Well, he's giving Pirelli a lot of screen time. Well then. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen here. Look at his car just bouncing all over the place there. Okay, what are we going to do? We going to have another lobby reset? Or are we just going to wait and see what happens? By the way, the stream might crash if the host leaves the session, because the game does that. So if the stream ends, I'll get it restarted once we've fixed all the lobby issues. Yeah, that might happen. Ooh. What is happening here? Ooh, what is this? So what is the game doing here? Waiting for players. Camera's just loading in. It's taking forever. I think this happened in a previous race back in F1 2020, if I recall correctly. I remember watching a race where a car was stuck during a formation lap. It was at Baku. And this thing happened where we go to a black screen. And as soon as we go back to see the track again, the race has started like that. Like, we don't get to see a countdown. We don't get to see the cars sitting on the grid. It went straight to green. So what are we waiting for? Quite right, JBH. It was a very interesting glitch. But yeah, I remember watching a race at in America. Oh, hello. You have a safety car out. You got people sitting on the grid. Got a Mercedes just out on track doing something. Cameron just sort of sitting there. We got a couple of other cars moving. Silent Banshee has left the session. I see. I think we're going to do a lobby reset. There's a safety car just sitting there, doing its own thing. Okay. Migrating host. Yeah. Right. What I better do... Yeah, new lobby. So I'll quit the main menu to avoid crashing the game, because the game does do that. So we'll have a new lobby. Okay. Just have to wait for the invite, I suppose. Right. Hopefully it won't take too long. Hopefully. But in slightly more interesting news, we got the final 2 rounds of the F1 Championship coming up at one completely new racetrack, and we got another remodeled circuit that we're going to. This weekend we've got the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at Jeddah. I mean, a new Grand Prix circuit is always interesting to hear about, but from the sounds of things, it's not exactly completed. So it'll be very touch and go to whether or not they'll be able to race there, simply because of the circuit's construction. But having driven on the track in this game, it is a very, very unorthodox circuit. Super fast, a lot of blind corners. I don't know how it's FIA Grade 1. I have no clue how it's a Grade 1 circuit, with it being so fast and the walls being so close to you almost everywhere. But probably more importantly than the track itself is the Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship as well, that is up for grabs. With Lewis and Max separated by 8 points, I want to say. I mean, mathematically, Max can win the championship here in Saudi Arabia if Lewis gets into any sort of trouble. But it's quite clear to everybody that Lewis has got the edge over Max at the moment in terms of raw pace. We saw that at Interlagos and we saw that in Qatar. So it's going to be a very interesting contest between those two, the final 2 rounds of the championship. And then we've got the season finale at Yas Marina. That ought to be interesting too, because they've redesigned a couple of parts of the circuit, including that god-awful chicane hairpin complex at the beginning of the circuit. That's gone. It's now one nice corner, one nice hairpin. And they've got rid of turns 11, 12, 13, 14. That chicane and 90-degree left-hander complex at the back end of the circuit. That's all gone, and that's just one big sweeper. They've also remodeled the corner that goes underneath the hotel. It's a bit more one corner rather than two 90-degree left-handers. So that's also interesting to look at as well. And hopefully the racing improves because of it, because the circuit just has better flow than what it has in the past. And hopefully, for once, we get to see an entertaining race at Yas Marina. That would be quite nice. Because we haven't had one of those, I think, ever. And typically, the only reason why a race at Yas Marina was in any way interesting was because of the championship itself, not because of the race. So, yeah, I agree. It just, the circuit does look better, Buster. I agree. Just, it seems like it has a better flow to it than what it had in the past. So I'm glad that with the changes that they made to the circuit. And in next year's game in F1 2022, it'll be interesting to see those changes firsthand on the video game. Just how much more enjoyable the track could be. There's the invite. It's taken a little while, but there's the invite. I'll be back in a minute. There we are. Yes, with everything that's going on in F1, it's leading up to an interesting conclusion. For the first time in some time. Oh, it's not going to do this, is it? It's not going to do this. Right, I might actually have to cut off the stream. Because I need to restart my game, because there is a thing with this game where if you join an online lobby and it closes, and you try to join another lobby, it won't let you. The only way to fix that is to close the application. If I do that, the stream cuts off. So I'm going to have to start up another stream. All that talking I did was basically wasted. So sorry folks, I'm going to have to cut off the stream. I'll start it again when the lobby is set and ready to go. But be sure to catch part 2, because hopefully we get an entertaining race. But I'll be back soon.